Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? ADOS and our allies. Good afternoon on the West Coast. Good afternoon in the Central. Good afternoon on the East Coast. You know who it is. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Friends of ADOS TV channel, bringing you those ADOS hot topics. Angela Nirvana presents The Way I See It, family. Yes. Follow in, follow in. Start your watch parties, family. It's going to be lit today. Woo-wee. I'm upsetting ADOS. I am making certain ADOS proud. But I am standing on my square. I am all about my people. The gate is up. Absolutely. And I'm getting all kinds of backlash, all kinds of push in my Facebook feed. Because it's time for us to rise up and break the back of the establishment. America as we know it must fall. Yes. Yes. What's up? Cosetta Osler, thank you for joining the line. Yes, family. It's got to fall. We've been doing this for 401 years, 60 years, the mules of the Democratic Party. All the way to George Floyd, 846 on the neck, family. When y'all gonna be done with this? When y'all gonna be done doing the two-step shuffle, lesser to evil dance, all the way to your ultimate demise and being wiped off the face of the earth? Huh? Share with me when that gets to end, family. We got one commodity, our vote. No money. White folks share $100 trillion. ADOS share less than $700 billion. Okay? I just told y'all yesterday in my immigrant show about how the immigrants are faring far better than ADOS all over the globe. But I just shared with you guys yesterday how ADOS in Los Angeles is $200 liquid. To white folks, I think it was $150,000 liquid. To African immigrants, $60,000 liquid. Yes, family, we're not even being able to be American in the country our ancestors built with their lives, okay? Yes. Did you know that Jews owned slaves and fought for the Confederacy? No wonder why Bernie Sanders drew a blank when it came to reparations for ADOS, right, family? So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. Yes, because you guys have got to wake up and stop this nonsense. You are voting every election cycle with these Democrats who ain't offering you nothing but identity politics. That's all they got. Obama created 1 million white millionaires on his watch, while ADOS lost 43% of their wealth. Yeah. And so y'all want more of that. We already told you during the primary, we wanted no parts of Kamala Harris. That was ADOS putting in that work like we doing now. Did y'all bump your head to everything we exposed about her? Everything Tulsi Gabbard exposed about her? It's like y'all went back to sleep. Oh no. ADOS is here, and we're going to expose what's happening and how you're being put to sleep by people who look like you, but ain't you. Being black is not ADOS. It is not an American descendant of slavery. And we're going to get into that topic. I'm going to let a few more folks file on in. You put your questions and your comments in the chat, and I'll revisit them as we get a window throughout the course of this exchange. Arthur Ward will be my co-host helping me to unpack this narrative sharing his insight and the whole 9 yards. So follow in, follow in, follow in. Yes, 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 yes. These are tough conversations, family, but we have to have them. We have to have them. Yeah, it's not popular, but I'm not in this for a popularity contest. I'm in this for my daughter and your sons and daughters. Introducing the incomparable Arthur Ward, ADOS.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Blessed and unstoppable.
Blessed and unstoppable.
Yes, I am. How are you today, Mr. Ward?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Whenever I'm on the ADOS subjects, gets my blood going, and I think it keeps me healthy. So,
It sure does keep you on your toes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you were talking earlier in the intro to the broadcast, and really, more of this stuff is on us than anybody else. Okay, this is 90% of it is us. The other 10% is getting through to those people that hold the levels of power. Okay, you were telling me earlier about how certain people not that are ADOS but are not within the official ADOS fold were getting on you about Kamala Harris, and how you're going to give the vote to Trump and all that stuff. Well, what'd you say?
That's nonsense. I believe that when you give us the author of the 94 crime bill and Callie's top cop by her own mention, then you give the election to Trump with no policies and no black agenda and no reparations, no tangibles.
Yeah.
We're just supposed to show up and vote because you put someone that looks like us in office the way we did with Obama, who created 1 million white millionaires during his season. We're just supposed to vote for a brown-skinned woman who doesn't even have our lineage, akin to Barack, who did not have our lineage. Lineage matters, but go ahead. Let me take a breath.
Well, you know what? The other thing, too, that I was thinking about as you were talking is that we black folks have a tendency to overemphasize the importance of money. Because when money is being put into a campaign, what is most of that money being used for? It is being used for marketing. Marketing to do what? To make you change your mind as to where you're going to place your what? Your vote. It's not the money that's the most important thing in an election. It's the vote that's the most important thing in an election. You could have a candidate and you could have the nation to put $1 billion into that person's campaign. But if the marketing don't work, the other person that spent a whole lot less is going to be the winner. You got to understand that. And so since your vote, and also, when we were coming up as a people in this country, especially in the South, what were they sicking dogs and policemen on us for? What were they marching across the Edmund Pettus Bridge for? It's about voting rights. And when voting rights came up in the mouths of African Americans at that time, that is the one thing that mobilized millions of white people in the South to stop that from happening. Because if it happens, that means that black people will use that very valuable vote to put people in office to do what? Vote their interests. And segregation is not about black interests. It is about white interests. And what makes a difference? The vote. So stop. I really wish guys would stop thinking this powerlessness stuff, because all you got is the vote. The main point of everything that you see, that you're watching being done, is about your vote. Please understand that. This is the money. This is the money. This is where all the money is going to influence. This. It doesn't matter what a candidate gets in money. It's how effective that money is being used to get people to vote this way or this way.
Absolutely. Well, what's problematic about Kamala from the gate is the fact that, like I said at the top, we already told the Democrats we did not want her when she had to drop out of the race because she could not get Black support and Black dollars. We were loud and clear in our lack of support for a myriad of reasons. Let me remind you, her prosecutorial record, don't believe the hype. She wasn't putting away hardened criminals. She went on Charlemagne the God's Breakfast Club and joked about smoking weed and was locking up folks who smoked weed. And when the governor at the time that she was a prosecutor told her to let these nonviolent offenders free, she said no because they're needed to put out the fires and to build the freeways and the such.
Wow.
So you got nonviolent offenders on lockdown due to Kamala as the prosecutor out here. Okay. And when she turns AG, no, we're not letting them go because we need them to do slave labor.
Right.
These prisons are privately held. The state is paying them $25,000 a bed. They need to fill it with someone. They fill those beds with Black bodies. Okay. And most of them were nonviolent offenders that she jailed as a prosecutor. They need that free labor so they can turn a huge profit at the expense of our people.
Right.
Now, folks are slaying me because they don't want us to look at her record. They want us to just forget it. Well, how do these other groups gauge who they're going to vote for?
Right.
You don't know how the person's going to stand as the VP or the president. So what do you have but their record to judge them on? What?
Well,
so
if they've never ran before, you can judge them on that platform.
But, okay, that's what we did with Obama.
Yeah.
And like I said, 1 million white millionaires were created during his term.
Yes.
His first term, to be exact. And we are on the bottom after 2 terms, and we placed him in there. VLB, thank you for joining live. The DNC clearly doesn't respect Black America or what we want. We need to show them the same disrespect.
Right.
Absolutely. There's no way any of this changes until we change it with our vote. Now, let me tell you why this election cycle is critical. Well, back to Kamala and all the things she's done. I'm just going to give you bullet points because I want to talk briefly about her mother identifying as Caucasian on her birth certificate. But this is not about color. This is about a lack of policies.
Right.
Well, let me finish why we did not want her in the primary, why she had to drop out of that race, and whose money was propping her up the same way it's propping up the Democratic Party right now. So let me go back. Her prosecutorial record. As AG, she wouldn't let the nonviolent offenders free when the jails got full because she told the governor that she need those Black bodies to put out fires and to build freeways free of charge and in the whole 9 yards. We know the prisons are privatized, so they're turning a profit. We know, and all of this can be looked up. I'm not making stuff up. You can look all of this up in the Google for yourself. You can get all the newspaper articles and all the videos on YouTube of her laughing at mothers of truant children, okay, and locking them up for truant children, not even investigating or seeing why the children are truant. Like the mothers being overworked and underpaid, can't be home to guarantee the kids get to school and get to school on time. Antonio Moore did a show recently with a young lady named Cherie, whose daughter suffered from seizures, literally had a stroke at 13, behind her mother being put in prison for 200 days, taken away from her daughter who suffered from sickle cell and was constantly having episodes, okay? And then she had a smaller son. They came to her house, put her in jail in pajamas as Kamala laughs about her tough on parents truancy policy, when who do you think was most impacted by that? Black mothers, okay, who don't have any real support or help because of the black men being put in prison, and the fact that there's so much division between black men and women. We're not marrying at the same rates. Why? Black men can't afford to marry. They can't afford to marry black women. They have no jobs. During this COVID crisis, we're not only dying disproportionately from COVID, we have the disproportionate number of cases, and we're disproportionately unemployed. I think 20% of the 40 million unemployed is ADOS, and we are 14%, 13% of the population.
Yep.
Then, as AG, Steve Mnuchin hit her off with about $11,000 towards her senatorial race. So he got a pass for wrongfully foreclosing on ADOS homes in the Bay. Those communities have been totally gentrified. You'd be hard pressed to find black homeowners in the Bay, but you can find them in jail. Okay? So these are some of the things she's done. She said from the gate that she ain't doing nothing specific for black folks. Okay, Obama started that trend of no to black folks after we put him into office for 2 terms by saying no to reparations, which makes this fight even tougher. Okay, so it's just she vacillates back and forth on Medicare for all. Anything that is progressive, she vacillates back and forth on. So ADOS disrupting this election cycle is the least of your worries. Okay, we're 13%. Those white folks put Trump in office, and now white folks want us to use the only leverage we got, our vote, to unseat him because it makes them uncomfortable. They believe that he was going to do something for them, and he did not. But let me tell you something. These same white folks will show up and vote for him again if it means we stay on the bottom. Because they very stupidly believe that they got the complexion for the protection from poverty. They'd rather be impoverished than to see us come up on reparations. They'd rather us be the bottom. That's why you can see them marching for Black Lives Matter and getting tired. And going home. Not all. I go to Sherman Oaks every Friday to my office to pick up my caseload. And I see white and black and Asian and Latino out there. The young, the millennials are out there holding the sign still for Black Lives Matter. But everybody else has gone home. Okay? So I'm here to tell you, you can't believe these white folks when they act ecstatic over Kamala Harris getting the nod.
Right.
That is not the pecking order. When white women have owned us, read they were her slaves. When white women have owned us, that means they're not going to be okay with a black VP over themselves. And you can't shame white folks into voting this ticket. They're not going to vote against their own interests. The same ones that said they was voting for Hillary went and voted for Trump.
That's right.
And I'm going to read a couple of things to you when I take a breath to let Arthur take over. This last bit before I switch it over to you, Arthur, to jump in with your talking points. Let's talk about her brown Indian Brahmin caste of a mother who raised her, not a Jamaican father. Her Brahmin caste mother raised her, okay? That means she comes from whiteness. That mother of hers marked Caucasian on Kamala's birth certificate in 64. She and her husband were here in 58. Kamala was born in 64, and Facebook shut me down because I exposed that birth certificate. And Arthur spoke to that yesterday, that they shut every ADOS down that was sharing that birth certificate. So he didn't share it. He was smart. But they shut me down. So you really need to sign up on YouTube and get notifications there, Friends of ADOS TV, because Facebook is watching the ADOS movement very closely because we are disrupting an entire election cycle for very valid reasons. We are bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives. I told you, down here in LA, we are $200 liquid, to African immigrants, $60,000 liquid, to white folks down here, I think $150,000 liquid. I had to go back to my notes from yesterday. $200 liquid? Who can do what with that? So anywho, back to the Indian mom. She put Caucasian because that's what they are. When you're in, let me help you understand something. The color of white in this country is green. The color of white in this country is green. So when her mama marks Caucasian, it is because she is Brahmin caste. That is a bit of the billionaire class in India. ADOS is on the bottom. And that's why Kamala can clutch her invisible skiwi bison pearls and tell you, I'm not doing anything specifically for Black folks. And class-based policies do not fix race. With only 16% of us educated, what happens to the other 85%, 84%? If you wipe out student loan debt, that's another white wealth transfer. They're the ones that's 95% educated. Immigrants are behind them. We are the least educated because we can't afford to be educated when we aren't making any money, highest unemployment rates. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys an overview of how they identify as you guys sit up here and fight for her to be Black. Black, yes. ADOS, no. Just like Obama was not ADOS. And this is why we can't flatten Blackness. We have got to put a gate up around American descendants of slavery so that we can get tangibles in exchange for our vote. Because it is clear after 60 years and still being on the bottom all the way to George Floyd 846 to the neck, that lesser two evil two-step has got us all the way to hell. It is not working. It's got to stop. And some of the boomers are with us. Thank you, Arthur Ward. Some of the Gen Xers are with us. But guess who's with us for real? The millennials. They're not having it. The millennials are hungry. They are graduating college and can't find work.
Right.
They cannot find jobs commensurate with their education while white high school dropouts and immigrants get work above them. You have to watch the part 2 of Unflattening Blackness to get those stats. It is staggering and undaunting to see how poorly we are doing. And that is all the Democrats are working to ensure with their neoliberalism and working for the establishment. They don't give a damn about you. And it is clear by choosing the author of the 94 crime bill and Cali's top cop, Kamala Harris, how little they care about you. I'm going to take a breath and let you jump in while I look up stats.
Well, you know what?
Hold on one second. Shout out to Randy West J says class-based policies do not fix race.
That's right.
Nick, Sheila Boyd Lee, thanks Angela Nirvana for the update. Thank you guys for joining the live. You're amongst my brave ones out here. Speaking up.
Right.
All right, go ahead, Arthur.
Well, optics don't fix race either.
Come on. Come on.
And we got snowed over by optics with Obama. And now we about to do it again. And I don't believe this. You know, I got Black women here in Chicago talking about this black girl magic nonsense. What black girl? Oh, I get the magic part. You magically think that Kamala is one of us. Yes, she's fooled you. I mean, she's pulled a trick on you that Obama has mastered, and she's learned and mastered it herself. Okay. And again, folks, who you are, what you are associated with, how you were born, and what you do after you're born in terms of like the groups that you hang with make a difference in your politics. You have a Kamala Harris, okay, who is Black in some rooms, who is Indian in some rooms, and she always signals white. And just like Obama was smart enough to marry a Black woman in order to have the correct political optics, Kamala was smart enough not to marry an Indian man because nobody would vote for that couple, but to get a white man who would have a broader appeal to a lot more people. And apparently it has an appeal to a lot of sisters out there. What are you going to say, Angela? Sorry.
Real quick, while you're on the point of how she is Kamala the chameleon, this is Vagana Paraha. She says in Twitter, I am also Indian American. And I'm telling you directly, do not trust her. Indians don't see ourselves as Black unless we are forced to. And she has stated her entire career. Go ahead, Arthur.
Wow. So this is an Indian American saying this. Is that correct?
Sir.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I'm at the Jana Piranha. This is what I took a snapshot of from Yvette's show the other day on Wednesday.
Right. You know, it's really important for us to shift our mindsets to policy rather than optics. And the reason why we have to be hard on that is because, yes, now I can say that sometimes people change, and that's true, they do, okay? But even though Kamala has had this atrocious political record in the past, if she had came to us with the right policy and the right promises and the right guarantees, I wouldn't be looking at none of that stuff. I would say Kamala's our girl. I would even take a former racist like a Strom Thurmond or George Wallace if he come to us right, because it's all about politics. It's all about horse trading. And these two people, Biden and Kamala Harris, are not even willing to give us that much courtesy. So if they're not willing to give us that much courtesy, they've already decided for us what we're not going to get and what we ain't going to do and all this other stuff. And then we still vote for them because of the optics and who Biden was associated with a few years ago. That's on us. We can't blame them for anything. The woman already told you that I'm not doing anything for you.
And I don't get why folks are acting like they're okay with getting nothing when we are dying disproportionately from COVID due to lack of medical care. You cannot afford Obamacare, working gig jobs. They're fighting you over $15 an hour. That's not even enough to pay your mortgage. Okay? So how in the world can you be okay with the optics and not demand real tangibles when you're dying disproportionately from COVID, when you have the most disproportionate cases of COVID in your communities, when you are redlined into environmentally hazardous tenement housing and neighborhoods, when you are underemployed, when you are unemployed, highest rates of unemployment, especially due to the COVID, it's wiped out all of our businesses. Let's see here. Healthcare. We have no education. You got black on black crimes and murders and turf wars because they have no jobs. They have no money for businesses. They're not homeowners. They have no education. So they're turning on each other. No different than any other class before they were made white. And you guys can listen to Biden say nothing is really going to change. And Kamala say, I'm not doing anything specifically for you in exchange for your vote, other than to pretend to be you to get your vote. And now I'm talking about my Jewish husband, who is a banker. And oh, by the way, he probably descends from slave owners. I just learned, shout out to Dr. Shauna Etienne on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
She did a show about Nick Cannon and why he got in trouble with anti-Semitics. And the list of Jewish slave holders that she ran down made my entire mouth drop. They were actually a part of the Confederacy. They fought for the Confederates.
Well, the first Secretary of State for the Confederacy was Jewish and a slaveholder. Did you know that?
We're going to absolutely be doing a show about it because I'm just now finding this out, as they were the very ones who screamed to be liberal and running the NAACP.
Right.
After owning us.
Well, okay. You always have to remember that those two organizations, the NAACP and the Urban League, were actually forms of what I call nigger management. Okay, they were created by the Jewish people, first of all, to keep us underclass. Okay, underclass, and the second thing, that when we have legitimate demands, they could be managed in a certain way that it will quell and give us a little bit. It gives us, it will do, these organizations would accomplish just enough to shut us up until the next eruption. You understand what I'm saying? So really that's what they're there for, Okay, and anytime that you have an organization that's supposedly for us, but is financed and headed by people who are not us, that in your mind should always present a problem. I don't care how much good they've been doing over the years. And I'm not saying that they haven't done any good, but the kind of good that they've done have not helped us to close the wealth gap, have not helped us to become a more prosperous unit as a community in this nation, and it has not taken us out of the bottom class.
Absolutely. And that goes to all of them. Nigger management, what? Yo, Jones. Oh, I love my sister from Dayton, Ohio. What is up?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, it blows my mind that she could be married to a Jewish banker, and folks are doing the happy dance. Like we've arrived.
Right.
The same way we did with Obama. We learned nothing under Obama. Well, ADOS has, okay?
Right, right.
We learned the hard way.
Well, you know,
to want us to use our only capital to unseat Trump when we didn't put him into office is just
right.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I want to look up a stat about that, Art, if you want to jump in for a second.
Oh, okay.
About how that vote went last election cycle. As they blame less than 2% of us that voted third party.
Yeah.
They're blaming ADOS for giving the election to Trump when we're only 13% of the population.
Right.
And less than 2% of that voted third party. But we're the ones that put Trump in office.
Right, right. You know, but see, it is actually the policies and the activities of the Democratic Party that have caused certain black men that I know in my circle to say, I'm voting for Trump. The hell with this.
And there's going to be more of that.
Yeah, and one of my friends told me that them picking Kamala Harris was an insult to black people. He said, when we going to get a full black person at that level? You know, because we didn't get it with Obama, and we're not going to get it with Kamala. When we going to get a whole black person that descended from slavery in that spot? So since they're not going to do that, I'm voting for Trump. They're saying this.
Because the bottom line is, we were here before America was even created. Drove over here, made cotton king to the tune of $42 trillion. And all y'all can give us is all these others. This is why we don't like flattening blackness. We ain't people of color. We ain't even African American no more. No. Because that's Barack.
Right.
He was African American.
Yes.
He was Kenyan and white.
Right.
You see the trick bag they put you in and have you think you winning? Okay, Kamala is Brahmin Indian and Jamaican. Okay, that is not ADOS. So we're not, lineage matters up in this piece. And if it doesn't, why are we on the bottom?
And Jamaicans and Indians and Trinidadians and Haitians are insular with their particular groups in their country, in this country, just like Italians, Polish, and Jewish people are. And we need to get that in our heads.
Yeah.
There are 48 different organizations in Chicago right now that belong to certain Caribbean and certain African groups. And not one ADOS is a member of any of those groups. And they're not going to let you be a member of any of those groups. Those groups are centered around education, finance, and community. And we are not part of we're not part of the Nigerian group. You're our brothers and you're the other, but you know, we have special things that we need to talk about here. You know, so therefore, you know, we don't really invite African Americans. You know, he was being nice. You understand what I'm saying? But we have to, you know, even with the not all skin folk and kinfolk, it's not anything about being hostile or xenophobic toward others. But we have to pull our stuff in just like you pull your stuff in your own household.
Absolutely.
You also have to understand one more thing. One more thing.
Go for it, my brother.
The other thing, too, after slavery.
Wait.
After slavery, you remember during slavery how they used to break up families and sell a baby here off this plantation, and off the same plantation they'll sell your brother somewhere else and all this other stuff. And then after emancipation, there was a tremendous effort of blacks looking for family members that had been sold away. Guess how many of those people are actually reunited? Guess how many? 10%. So you don't know who you're kin to. We are genetically networked as a group, more so than any other aspect of the African diaspora. We also have the lowest amount on average of African genetics. We have significant African genetics, of course, but our percentage is much lower than that of a Haitian or Trinidadian. You understand what I'm saying? Because when those people were released from slavery, they were released into majority black situations. We are the only members of the diaspora that when we were released after slavery, we were the minority.
And re-enslaved.
And also because of the fact that we were cut off for 400 years in this system, being mixed with each other, Igbo and Salsa and all these other tribes over in this country being mixed together in our genetics, along with European, along with some Hispanic, along with some American Indian. We are a totally different group. We're totally different from the rest of the diaspora. So with all of that information, it would seem to me only natural that we should be pulling the gate up on our particular group. Not saying that we don't look at Africans or Caribbeans as our cousins, because they are. You understand what I'm saying? But we also have to understand who did the injuries. And then in the case of Africans, what are their culpabilities in us being slaves in the first place?
Come on. Come on now. Let me give a shout out to Bruce Jones. Thank you for joining the live. Rashawn Graham, thank you for joining the live. Joel Jones, thank you. Samantha Angelique, oh, I love you, sis. Thank you for joining the live. Who else? Reese Anderson. He's Jamaican and 89% West African, 11% British. Thank you for joining the live. Read a damn history book, you ADOS fools. Wait a minute. Maybe I shouldn't be thanking you for joining the live. Maybe I should kick you out.
You're talking about Reese Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
troll?
Yeah, he's a troll. Matter of fact, he said, you telling me Wesley Snipes is actually, my previous girlfriend, she was just as dark as Wesley Snipes, but she was dark, real pretty, but had thin lips and a keen nose, almost like a white person. Her actual African genetics was about maybe 30%. Isn't that something?
Yeah. I love what Patrick Smith said, Kamala is only black when it's beneficial. That's why we call her Kamala, the chameleon.
Kamala.
Yep.
The chameleon.
Or Scamala, whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to read you this real quick so y'all can stop talking about how ADOS put Trump in office. That is ignorant. Okay, so real quick, this is Clinton, Trump, and who voted what, okay? 63% of white men voted for Trump. 52% of white women voted for Trump. 80% of black men voted for Clinton. 93% black women voted for Clinton. The Latinos, 33% of Latino men voted for Trump. 62% of Latino men voted for Clinton. Latino women, 26% voted for Trump. 68% voted for Clinton. And others, 32% voted for Trump and 61% voted for Clinton. Now, what this tells you with your ignorant behinds, the ones out there on my feed, calling us as a movement right-wing Trump supporters, being pro-ADOS is not anti-immigrant and it is not pro-Trump. Read my lips. What this shows you is that Trump was placed into office by white folks. The very white folks that want to use your vote, the only leverage you've got, because you have no money. The only leverage you've got, you have no money to pay for your politics. You might have an income, but you have no wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's the data doesn't support you having any wealth. And whatever little bit we had is gone by COVID, okay? And what it also shows you is that the Democrats are now pandering to the Latinas because they supported Clinton twice as much as they supported Trump last election cycle. So when you see Joe Biden saying stupid stuff like the Latinas are more diversified and more this, more that, more the third, and pretty much more superior than Native blacks is what he's saying. This is why they're pandering towards the vote of the Latins, okay? So this is why it's imperative to break the back of the establishment, because the Democrats have a plan to give a pathway to citizenship for 10 million more Hispanics. Hispanics are now 18% in this country to our 13%. So they're already bigger than us. And shout out to my Hispanic allies.
But
no shade with you.
But you know what?
The Democrats are up to guarantee they get 12 years. They're putting Biden in there. He's coming out in 2 years or less. I guarantee Kamala's going in there. She is going to be Hillary Clinton's puppet because all of Hillary's donors are behind her. Hillary has it in for Putin. She blames him for why she lost. It wasn't his fault. All that Russiagate is nonsense to put y'all in a trick bag, because I don't know anybody that interferes in everybody else's elections more than the US of A. Okay, so Clinton is going to be the puppet master. This is the way Clinton becomes president. It's through Kamala.
Right. She's going to be, if Biden goes out the way we think he will.
Biden's going out.
Hillary is going to be the vice president.
She may be, I don't even know about she wanting vice president, because she has bought Kamala. She has bought Kamala, and Kamala is going to do her bidding for the rest of Biden. She's coming back and going to get the president full out because she will have proven herself during the rest of his tenure, okay, his term, and then she'll come back again. Now, what that sets the stage for, remember when we thought we couldn't do any worse than Bush and got Trump? When these Democrats do this for the next 12 years, guess who's coming next? Hitler. Okay, it's going to get worse than Trump. And what I'm telling you guys is we got one cycle left to break the back of this establishment.
Right.
And get these Democrats on this reparations bandwagon. We got one. Because if they win, it's game over. Kamala has already said when she was running for president that she is going to be hooking up her Brahmin Indian people, right, and giving them a pathway to all the tech jobs over here.
That's
not
right.
putting money into education for our children to put them on a path for STEM and tech. She is bringing them in with the H-1B visas. So y'all want to sit up here and oh happy day and be running through the streets like y'all have come up because of this white Indian woman? Because like, what did we learn today, boys and girls? The color of white in this country is green. And what the ADOS movement does is demand tangibles in exchange for a vote. We are done with lesser to evil. When they gave us the ultimate FU by choosing Kamala, who we clearly were not supporting on her own damn campaign trail, our ultimate FU is to ensure that you lose this election. And guess what? We're not the only ones. The progressives are hotter than fish grease because they're feeling the pain now. So what's going to happen when Kamala and Jim Crow Joe get this? ADOS will be the only one on the bottom hurting. None of this changes till everybody is in pain.
That's right.
Look at how the world came together to march for Black Lives Matter. They got tired after a week. But look at how the world came together. Because everybody's in pain. If you're not of the billionaire class, you in pain. And so what these folks are asking us to do is to guarantee our own pain while they feel some relief and continue to come up on the backs of our ancestors' chattel slave labor. And you guys need to grow a backbone. You can't be scary like your boomer parents and grandparents. They on their way out. I ain't wishing nobody dead, but they're on their way out. And guess what they did? They fought for civil rights. And we still don't have anti-lynching laws on the books. They've been fighting for anti-lynching since FDR, Truman, Lyndon B. Johnson. So you guys need to get your heads out your behinds and become political and start making demands, because all these other groups are making demands and they're being met.
That's right. Now, you know what, though? This is the other thing that we need to go into detail a little bit about. Yes, it is correct that Hispanics are now making up 18% of the population as opposed to our 13%. But this is it. And actually, what Biden said was true about the Hispanics being diverse. He just didn't have to put that black shit in there. He could have let that stand because it's actually true. Hispanics do not vote at the same rates that black people do. That's
but they're climbing.
They're climbing.
Through the stats.
They're climbing.
70%.
They're climbing.
80 and 90%.
Yeah.
And if you open up these borders and give 10 million more a pathway to citizenship when they already outpacing us by 5% in this country, it's game over. Because they're giving them everything that they want. DACA, everything they want.
Yeah, DACA, they can't even vote and they're getting what they want.
They do everything they want, even from their the Republicans.
Right.
Because they used to be conservative. Now the Democrats and the Republicans are in a fight for that vote. They have all but told you your vote no longer matter because we woke up.
Also, they will, I don't know how many Indian Americans there are in this country, but they will be getting that vote. But most people don't know that most that Indian Americans, especially ones in the tech, most of those guys voted Republican. Did you know that?
Well, like I said, if they're over here, they come from money. Let me go through here and read the comments. We got about 10 minutes left, and I want to see what people are saying. It goes so fast, but I think we made our point.
Okay.
Let me just give it a button. The point is, show up, vote Democratic down ballot.
That's right.
I'm not voting for Trump, but I'm not voting for Biden and Kamala. I'm putting ADOS in the box.
Right.
I'm putting ADOS, and I'm also giving a Democratic Congress. That's all the ADOS have in us for y'all. Right. Is a Democratic Congress, because our goal for this and future election cycles is to gridlock. If you got Republican president and VP and a Democratic Congress, nothing gets done until they pay attention to ADOS.
Right.
We have to go there, and we need all hands on deck, making sure that flies. Now, I don't care who you vote for. Okay, but don't vote for Biden and Kamala. Do not do it, because it's going to be to your demise. Watch what I tell you what's going to happen. I already told you. Being on this show is like looking into a crystal ball, because I am studying, unlike many of the people in my feed, not you guys. Many of the people in my Facebook feed that are coming for me can't tell me anything that Trump has done other than to be mean or to be racist. They can't tell me anything he's done more egregious than Jim Crow Joe, author of the 94 crime bill, and top cop Kamala. They can't tell me nothing. I've been trying to see what the rub is. I'm no better, no worse than under Obama. Okay, they were murdering us under Obama. Guess what he did? Signed Blue Lives Matter.
Right.
Let's not act like we don't have a long laundry list of ADOS who were murdered while he was in office. And he signs Blue Lives Matter.
Yes. I'll never forget that one.
Okay?
I was very disappointed.
Yeah. So I'm here to tell you that hasn't changed under Trump. It was happening under Obama.
Yes.
A black president for 2 terms did nothing. Him, Valerie Jarrett. What's that other fella's name? Oh,
Eric Holder.
Eric Holder. Okay, none of them did a thing to protect our lives.
Yes, and we can't say that they. I worked for Obama full time in 2007 and 2008 to get him in. I worked for him full time. Rahm Emanuel gave me top pay to canvass and do political work in Indiana. I was one of the people that helped to turn red Indiana blue for Obama.
And we lost 43% of our wealth under him, and the rest is gone from COVID.
Yeah.
We have got to rebuild, family. You can't be afraid to make this country fall. Because if you don't, it's going to be the gas chamber for you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's going to get real ugly when they take this over for 12 years while working for Wall Street and not giving a damn about how you eat. They went on recess instead of coming up with another stimulus. They all went on recess, not just Republicans. And a lot of stuff that the Democrats are asking for, it's just a bunch of crap that's not needed. The people need immediate relief. But they're overloading it with folks for their friends. Nancy Pelosi. They're all in bed together. They're 2 sides of the same coin.
Yes.
2 sides of the same bird. They're working in cahoots to protect the billionaire class and to take until we are beggars, ADOS. You better recognize and be willing to go to war. Right now, you've got to weaponize your vote to break the back of this here. That's what I'm asking you to do. And that's what ADOS will be doing. Republican President VP, Democratic Congress. Lock it down. Okay, I'm going down, reading some of the comments. Randy Westjay said, look up Mindy Kaling's brother. Thank you. We will do that. Bruce says, Kamala going to be black until she gets in the White House, and then she will be Indian Asian. Brother, that's already happening. That's already happening. She got the VP.
Yes.
You don't need to pretend to be ADOS no more. She's already talking about her Indian Asian persuasion.
That's right.
Rashawn Graham, they don't have my vote without tangibles. Thank you. Randy Westjay, Dems can only win if they can maximize the black vote specifically and the non-white vote generally. Like I said, progressives are hotter than fish grease behind this ticket. They're not going for it. Wait till you see what goes down at that Democratic convention. Let me tell you something. They gave AOC 60 seconds. That's how much they don't give a damn about the left. They too will be showing up and voting down.
And she's Hispanic.
And she's Hispanic. Not Ayanna Presley. They gave AOC 60 seconds. Not Nina Turner. They gave AOC 60 seconds. So Joelle says, I have an idea. We're losing, folks. How about we develop a conversation about this? Fact-based, concluding with action items. Joelle. Okay, you and I can do that show. We'll work on it, all right? We have been screaming about reparations and tangibles. Visit ADOS101.com for a few years now. We got action items. They gave us their ass to kiss. They gave us Biden, the author of the 94 crime bill, and Kamala Harris, Kamala Chameleon. The Cali's top cop, she named herself that. Giggling all the way to locking us up. So I don't know what you're talking about. Fact-based. Everything we do is fact-based. Everything we do is data. Come on now, you know this. Joel says all skin folk ain't kin folk. That's true. What about Scout's appointment? District Court judge.
SCOTUS. SCOTUS on Supreme Court.
You want to speak on that?
No, I don't really care at this point because well, if they do have an opportunity to appoint a Supreme Court justice, it looks like they're going to have the opportunity to appoint two, and they're going to be liberal. That's fine. You know, I'm not that worried about that right now. I'm worried about legislation.
Absolutely. And if we gridlock it, not much can get done.
Yeah.
Joel, I'm not sure about y'all, but some ADOS scare the hell out of me.
What? Why?
I don't know why. Joel, please type why we scare you. We're very radical, but I mean, weren't the people radical when they did civil rights? Didn't you have to be radical to get some radical change?
Well, the Declaration of Independence was a radical document. Yeah. They told the king to kiss their butt, and we're not going to go with you anymore. That's how the war started.
There it is. So do we get this being sheeple, or do we have to take what is ours?
Right.
We have to take our freedom at this point. Lesser to evil, we are at George Floyd, 8 minutes 46 for the world to see.
See, Joel, you would be you need to understand that we have the attitude that you would have if your boss was withholding your paycheck unjustly. I'm sure that you wouldn't go into that office being nice or being calm and all this other stuff, and he's unjustly holding your paycheck or your 401k or everything else that you're entitled to.
Absolutely. Hear, hear. Reese Anderson, I'm not even paying attention to you. You are a troll. Joel Jones, some ADOS come off as fanatical because of the pushback we're getting that doesn't make sense to us. Yeah, well, you know, like I said, people that are comfortable don't like the disruptors, the agitators.
Right.
Now, let me help you understand something about me and Arthur. We're doing well.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm telling you, I'm not, and neither is Arthur, and neither are the other successful, accomplished, educated business and home owners in this movement. We are not about pick yourself up by your bootless straps when we understand clearly that it's institutional systemic racism is why the majority of us are on the bottom.
Right.
And I've had enough interactions with racism here in LA personally to pick up this mantle and fight for my brothers and sisters that I got to walk over when I go downtown LA. While the white folks are stacked in high-rise penthouse buildings, living La Viva Loca and the horror clutching their pearls because they got to walk over ADOS homeless.
Well,
the whole 9 yard down there.
Joel says this ain't new. Of course it's not new. See, and that's the shame. It's not new. The shame is that it's been a long time since this has been addressed. And it's going to continue to be not new until they take care of it. You damn right it's not new. That's the problem. It's not new.
It's 401 years old and counting. And so we decided we're not on this self-individualism. We got to be the voice for the voiceless. So we use our time, our energy, our resources to fight for the ADOS who can't afford the Wi-Fi in their homes. They don't have laptops. They're too busy trying to pay the rent.
Right.
On $8 an hour. When these $15 an hour don't even keep pace with the high cost of inflation and the high cost of living.
Nope.
We're about community upliftment. And we're being COINTELPRO'd all over the place. From Black immigrants to white folks alike. So you know what happened to the Black Panther Party. Each of us is risking our lives to do this work.
That's right.
We're putting our faces out there and we are disrupting shit daily on a regular.
Yep. I'm putting my face out there.
People are warriors who want to come for us like we're trolling, like we're disrupting stuff. What are you doing to help your fellow brethren? other than sitting up in your comforts, your creature comforts, and continuing to sell this nonsense, vote lesser to evil. You got yours and don't give a damn about the rest? Well, I got this to lead to my 16-year-old. That's why I'm in this fight, ADOS. Because it's clear lesser to evil, two-step to hell is not working for ADOS.
Right.
I'm pro-ADOS. It doesn't make me anti-immigrant, and it doesn't make me pro-Trump.
Right. It makes me
ADOS first for a goddamn change.
Right. I'm anti-immigrant. Any immigrant that's anti-me.
That's it.
And you have and any black immigrant over here talking mess has the nerve to come over here. Yeah, you know, I mean, listen, have you folks ever heard of the African exclusion measure? You ever heard of that? Well, that happened in the Immigration Bill of 1915, and ADOS, Booker T. Washington, stuck his neck out to the United States Congress to remove that from the immigration bill. He did that for Africans and Caribbeans, especially the Caribbeans that were working on the Panama Canal at that time. And they had actually put together an immigration bill stopping Africans and Caribbeans from immigrating to the United States after they had worked their butt off building the Panama Canal. And then some black immigrant is going to have the nerve to come over here and tell me what I deserve and how much of stuff I got to share with him and all this other mess about some businesses not even his business to talk about. Really?
They're down here in LA and their salaries are 2.5 times that of ADOS. $115,000 in their incomes as compared to ADOS $53,500.
Right.
But everybody want a piece of us and want to disparage us when we were your reparations. Like I mentioned on yesterday's show, none of y'all were bred on breeding farms out here doing slavery. None of you picked cotton and made it a $42 trillion industry. None of you were raped. None of you. Not here. Okay, I'm not dealing with what y'all went through in your country. That's your monkey and your circus. I'm talking about my monkey and my circus, the ADOS. None of you were lynched and your Wall Streets weren't burned to the tune of about 60 Wall Streets all over the country.
Right. That's right. All of them have not been talked about.
Reparations. And I don't see y'all out here fighting for our reparations, but I see you getting in the way. And I see you trying to crowbar your way in it. And I know I'm not popular for speaking up. Y'all rather I just go somewhere and be quiet, but we've been doing this for a couple years now. Right. It ain't like the Democrats don't know who we are. They know full well who we are.
Yes.
They're choosing to ignore us and to give us scamala chameleon over real tangibles.
And then they got then the media, the white media has African and Caribbean immigrants that speak English well talking grease about ADOS. You know, so it's like I'm looking at all this stuff and I don't know what to make of black immigrants anymore. I've been to Africa. I know Pan-Africanism going on there. They cast shade on all their tribes over there. Tribes will shade other tribes. Tribes don't cooperate with other tribes. Matter of fact, there's 14 intertribal wars going on right now in Africa. Where's that Pan-Africanism y'all talking about? No. We got our business is here.
To get over here. They're clamoring to get in the U.S. Leaving the trauma of their own people. They're banning their people and coming over here to skate off of our efforts.
Right.
Off of the things we did to build this country and all the wealth they benefit from.
Right.
But I'm not supposed to be ADOS centered. Everybody else can fight for their own groups. But y'all want to come for me because I'm ADOS first. Even ADOS. You're ignorant. Go educate yourself. Get some political education, then come talk to me. We've been doing this since 2014. I have. Arthur's been in it far longer than me, political. I just got this way with Yvette when I was working the Bernie Sanders campaign.
Yeah. Well, I come from a crazy political family, so it's kind of second nature.
I love it. Patrick says Kamala is a fraud. Joel says, Randy, thank you, but I'm talking about some of these Negroes who no longer share our values. Yes, I said it, no one else will. This stuff is a mess. I realize this, but damn, what about values? What is our responsibility? Arthur, can you please take that?
Which one?
You're going to take what she just said. I'm going to put it up.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
We're going a little over.
Negroes who don't talk. That I said no one else with stuff is a mess. I realize is, but Don, what about values? I mean, what do you mean by values? I mean, values can mean a whole lot of things according to the individual or according to a particular group. I mean, what do you mean about values? Our responsibility is to our particular group. And our responsibility is to help our group economically, educationally, commercially, living space-wise, and all the other things that make a community a beautiful community, like with other groups. That's what I feel our values should be. And a big part of that is politics. Politics, economics, business, and protection are four facets of the same object. You can't separate the four because they all go together. And these are the things that we are trying to develop within our community. And the first thing that we need to accomplish to make that happen is reparations.
Thank you for that explanation. Dr. Latasha Gibson, Triangle ADOS, thank you for joining the live. I'm almost done that we can pray out and be on our way with our day. Joel Jones, okay, I misunderstood what you said, but I don't think you can separate our cultural situation from our political and economic situation. Arthur just spoke to that. So if our values have declined, isn't it related to our current situation? Sheila says, speak truth. IJ West, thank you for joining the live. Half of those Hispanics are actually Black, but they jumped on the other side because they speak Spanish or come from a country that was colonized by Spanish. Yeah, absolutely true. Right. And it's beneficial to be white.
Right.
You get a lot of benefits to oppress Black people in their own country that they created.
Right.
Okay, he says Black people aren't diverse, then selects a VP candidate who people say is indicative of Black diversity. Make it make sense. That was Randy West J speaking. ADOS women will still support Kamala, sadly. Yeah, well, we're doing our best to, we're going to be driving this point hard all the way to election day. I mean, I'm going to be on here pretty much daily. Arthur has a wonderful show with the lovely Cynthia McDonald out of ADOS Chicago, the 13%.
Yeah, that's every Monday.
Every Monday. At what time? 7
Central Standard Time.
Okay. I have to type that. 7 Central. Nobody wants to be Black anymore because they don't see the benefit of it. There are no benefits of being Black right now, other than people, people weaponizing it to get elected. Folks are Black when it's convenient, when they want to, when they want to put it on for convenience or when they want to put it on for fashion. But nobody wants this plight, this struggle. Randy West J says, they see the benefit if they want to rap or something. Just to my point. Absolutely. Patrick Never Biden, thank you for being with us in our efforts to topple the establishment. IJ West says we only have until 2024, and then after that, it's over for us as ADOS. No, we got right now.
No, we got now.
That's all we got. We can't wait to 2024 to become rebellious. The revolution is now, and it's being social mediaized. So you better get in where you fit and pick up a brick, because this is a wrap. After this election is done, we ain't got to wait to 2024. Taj Marie, thank you for joining the live. Her father is not even necessarily Jamaican Black. He's more of an Indian descent himself.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Right.
As they sit up here and try to say he's African.
Right. All the pictures that we have of him are fuzzy. We're not totally sure what we're looking at.
But it makes sense, being married to a Brahmin Indian caste woman, that he'd be more Jamaican Indian. And Jamaica is just as diverse as the U.S. when it comes to different groups.
Right.
You find a white man over there speaking patois or whatever it is they call it. Joel, our come up is not dependent upon them. We proved that 70 years ago. Our come up, Joel, is dependent on us working collectively and voting as a block.
Right.
We come up when we destroy the establishment.
Right.
when we destroy neoliberalism.
Right.
If
Also,
all 35 million of us got to the polls and put ADOS on the president and the VP and gave them a Democratic Congress so they could hug it out the next 4 years with the Republicans, okay, now we will have come up.
right.
But
With
as
a
long
vote,
as we got 35 million scared Negroes, with the few exceptions, we're going to continue to do this dance all the way to our extinction.
right.
They'll be reading about us next in the history books.
Yeah, with a
While
vote,
all the other immigrants get to be president.
right, and with a vote and a singular unified agenda.
Yes, that's it. And oh, by the way, before I forget, Jane Elliott, who's sitting around here talking about how we're all black, how we're all one race, is against your reparations. This is what I can't stand about these liberals. They'll march for Black Lives Matter, but can Black lives really matter without resources? They'll march for your Black Lives Mattering, but not for you to become whole and not for you to come off the bottom. They'll let you live. They'll march for you to live and not be wrongfully annihilated by the racist pig cops. But they won't support you being whole financially. Patrick says, if Biden wins, there will never be any reparations because they will realize that they can still win without ADOS. Absolutely. Absolutely. You got it right.
Or if it is, if they do allow reparations, it will be in a form that we don't get anything. It'll be a reparationless reparations.
Yeah, and it won't be cash. And if there's any cash to be had, we'll get $20 and told to go on our way.
Go away.
That's why they cannot get into office.
Right.
They're going to water this down, and it will be something that benefits Black immigrants over ADOS.
That's right. And
I promise you that's what they're working on between Narcan and Cobra and Sheila Jackson Lee.
Right.
Did you want to speak to that briefly?
No, that's true. And that's entirely true. That's the real play. Because see, it's just like with this local reparation stuff. The real play, because if they put cash out there, that's problematic. But if they put it in the form of resources or down payment help, that kind of thing, they can slowly put these kinds of resources into the pockets of immigrants, okay? And say, well, we're all Black, you know? And we've all suffered discrimination. And the same thing is going to happen at the national level if Biden and Kamala get elected and allow reparations to happen. That's what's going to happen. You ain't going to see a dime.
Not only are you not going to see a dime, but they'll put so much fluff policy in place that they will, inevitably, everybody will be Black. LGBTQ will be Black. The white women will be Black.
Right.
It'll become just like affirmative action. It will benefit everyone but ADOS.
Everybody but us.
So we got to make this fall. Joel says, so are y'all willing to have 4 more years of Trump if demands are not met for clarification?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because 4 more years of Trump will give us a chance to do several things. It'll give us a chance to do more ADOS marketing. It'll give us a chance to get more of our people under our umbrella. That will give us more time to organize nationally, and it'll also give us a chance to better direct more people to properly use their voting power. Yes, 4 more years of Trump is preferable to Biden and Kamala getting in there, then Narcan and Cobra ruining reparations for the rest of us. We're talking about 400 years, y'all. We can't reduce this down to just one election.
And we can't reduce it to 12 trillion.
Right.
When they stole and benefit from $100 trillion to 90% of ADOS, $700 billion.
Right.
You don't fix us with 12 trillion when you holding 100 trillion.
Right.
That was built off of our free, heinous chattel slave labor, the worst of its kind in the known world. That's what we are survivors of, ADOS.
Yeah, we need to, we as a people need to think bigger and more strategically.
Okay, Joel Jones, what percent? Okay, Lord have mercy. Okay, This is such an important show, Arthur. If you don't mind, I have
Sure.
to. I just want to, while you're on the line, because you can help me talk our people through this. Joelle agrees it's over in 2020, not 2024. IJ, she's right. Randy West J says, Joelle, that may be what it takes. As Angela said, we won't see change until everyone is in pain. Back to my earlier point, if Kamala and Joe win, only ADOS will be in more pain.
Right.
The rest of them will forget all about the pain they endured under Trump as they begin to prosper. As they rise and ADOS is left completely out to the point of beggars in the country our ancestors did with their lives. Right. That is what's coming for us if we put these establishment neoliberal Democrats, Obama 2.0 in office. There's no two ways about it.
Right. We are a special group. And you got to understand something, stop listening to the propagandistic nonsense. Racism is only for ADOS blacks, not black immigrants, not Hispanic, not Asian. Yes, these groups do experience anecdotal racial animus. That's true. But systemic racism is for us. Because if you notice, all of these other groups are able to come up economically just like white people.
Because the color of white is what in this country, America?
Green.
The color of white is green. Right. I think we need to write that book, Arthur.
Yeah, and a lot of black people can't get that through. Well, or people from Africa and the Caribbean. No. I know Caribbeans right here that are cool with me that will tell me that when they're going for employment, they make a point to let them know that they're from the Caribbean because they get treated differently because they look upon them and deal with them differently than American blacks.
All by design.
All by design.
Systemic racism. They are weaponizing immigration against us.
Right.
To open up the borders and give everyone a pathway to citizenship right over top of us while we continue to our own demise as the permanent underclass in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
That's right.
Y'all gotta wake up. Right. Y'all best to wake up. Let's see here, back to Joelle, but that percentage is skewed. That includes all of Latin America. I don't know what she's talking about right there. If you're still there, could you break that down? I don't know what you're talking about. 4.5 million Indian Americans. Wow. They mostly vote Dem, though, 65 to 35. Joelle, that was Randy West J. What percent is skewed? Thank you for the question, because I'm lost. Jacaranda Riley, thank you for joining the live. Thank you, Angela. Oh, you're so welcome. I love y'all, Black and Strong. Bruce Jones, policy over symbolism. Absolutely. Jacaranda Riley, facts. Randy West J. They'll talk about Trump and the Central Park Five, but bring up Biden and Harris's records, and they bury their heads like ostriches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should have been more specific when I was talking about Indians. When I was talking about Indians, I was talking about those of the Brahmin class. Most of the Brahmin class vote Republican. That's that other 45%.
Okay. That makes sense because they're wealthy.
Yeah.
Usually even ADOS wealthy vote Trump. They ain't going to tell you.
Right.
But Trump is their friend.
Mm-hmm.
He's protecting their interests and their money.
Yeah.
Like I said, the color of white in this country is green. I'll keep saying it. Okay.
But they should wake up too.
Huh?
They should wake up too. Even at the billionaire class, we have 5 black billionaires on the 400 list, right? They're at the bottom.
Okay.
They're all single-digit billionaires.
401 years.
Yeah.
So and they're not even free.
Right.
The minute they talk against the establishment, I mean, Oprah got slapped because
No,
she said
recently.
something progressive and more ADOS-ness.
Right.
She was cloaked in ADOS-ness talking about the rich establishment, wealthy white folks. They came for her throat. Nigga, don't you talk against us when we made you one of us. You may not have multiple billions, but we gave you $1 billion. You better go somewhere and sit down.
Right.
You can't even speak for your own people when they dollar run your voice. Name Texwell the Wiz. Thank you for joining the live. The Hispanic vote. Could you please give us context, Joel? I'm not clear. I'm hearing talk of a general strike. No, this is an all-out revolution. This is war. We're weaponizing our vote, withholding it from Kamala and Joe, and giving a Democratic Congress and letting a Republican president and VP hug it out with a Democratic Congress until the Democrats, whom we've been the mules of for 60 years, wake up and decide to give us real tangibles in exchange for our vote over symbolism. The worst of its kind, top cop Kamala Chameleon Harris. Cali's top cop.
You know that, remember you said 700 billion. Remember that old number that they used to put on us about 1.1 trillion, that we had $1.1 trillion in buying power?
Yeah.
A lot of that was credit.
A lot of it is credit. I did on my show yesterday. I told you how we're maxed out on credit cards.
Yeah, a lot of that's credit. So
data.
That's not no real network. That's not
It's
no
not
network.
No real money. We are being propped up by credit the same way the stock market is being propped up by COVID relief.
Right.
And not one more person better ask me, how do we pay for reparations? Ask this country how they paid an additional $600 a month and additional $600 for 13 weeks to the unemployed in this country. How they gave each of us, irrespective of your income, except for, of course, the poor ADOS who don't have an address. 50% of ADOS in this country are homeless families. How did they do that to the tune of $1,200 to $2,500 per family? How are they propping up the stock market? Don't ask me how to pay trillions over multi-generations for our repair.
That's right.
It's not our fault that it's in the trillions. You should have did this shit when you had the chance with the 40
acres and a mule.
Taking that back and giving us Freeman's Bureau Bank and allowing white folks to pillage it. Government. So I don't want to hear nobody's tears. I don't want to hear, well, we didn't enslave you, but you benefit from our enslavement, people, immigrants, Jewish people who I now know own slaves and who fought for the Confederacy.
That's right.
That show is coming as soon as I do a little bit more research.
Very much so. Yeah.
Everybody benefits to the tune. White folks, y'all got 100 trillion after we made Cotton King and all the other things we produced in the North and the South. Both of yous. The Republican put money in there for the Pentagon. That's not what the holdup is. Not gifts from the Dems. Joelle, I don't even understand. She is ADOS clowns. She's a descendant of Caribbean slaves.
Who?
I don't get Reese Anderson. I'm gonna move past his stuff because he is a troll. The burners are pissed off. Texwell. Absolutely. That's why I said it ain't going down.
Right.
Prepare yourself for Trump, and I'm happy about it.
Well, hey, my response to when somebody said, where's the money going to come from? I said, well, first of all, I don't know. I'm a nigga. But where stuff comes from, where shit comes from is not my concern. That's the job of the United States government to figure out. They got people for that. If you want to ask stuff, ask where 6,000 lynchings came from. Ask where redlining came from. Ask where being locked out of Social Security came from. Ask where the ghetto came from. Ask where being denied military benefits came from. Ask where 300 years of enslavement came from. Ask where 100 years of Jim Crow came from. Ask where police brutality came from. Ask where Emmett Till came from. Ask where George Floyd came from. And ask if somebody found 40 acres somewhere and that fucking mule anywhere. Ask why a bunch of motherfuckers must die before white people consider pointing their white ass minds towards doing the right thing. Ask that and see if you get any answers. if you do get back to me. That's my response.
ADOS, ADOS, ADOS. Man, I should have backed that up with a beat. Why wasn't I a beatbox so good? You laid that rap out. We gonna put that music next time you start flowing.
That's from my blog post. That's from my blog post entitled "To Those That Want to Complicate Things."
Man, I missed my window. Oh, that was fire.
Yeah.
Okay. let's get Reese Anderson all the way together. America is North, Central, and South America, including the Caribbean. Sometimes I wonder if y'all went to school.
No, we wonder if you went to school. Because there are countries in those contexts. Different countries with different governments with different laws, governing different people. Okay, and their business is their business. American business is American business, and our business with America is our business with America. I can't go down to Brazil and talk no shit.
Okay. And I can't collect nothing from the Caribbean for CARICOM.
Right, because they will take my American passport and put my black ass in jail. That's what would happen, Reese Anderson. Take your ass down there and do it, see what happens.
Joel said Dems have not had the majority of white votes since the 60s. So why y'all blaming ADOS for why Trump keeps winning?
Right.
Or why he won? Why is it that we're getting blamed if Dems have not had the majority of white votes since the 60s? Ergo, white folks put Trump into office. All together now.
It is not our job to provide Democratic legislators with jobs. It is our job to get interested in our interests and then hire people through the vote to execute those interests, whether they be Democrat, Republican, Green Party, Communist Party, or what the fuck ever. Do you understand that? Stop being interested in party. Be more interested in your interests. Be interested in your money. That's what you need to be interested in. I'm not interested in the Democratic Party. They're just there. Okay? And it's like with anything else, baby. Do you go to Burger King and just leave money on the counter? Or do you go there to pay for a hamburger and walk out with one? What we've been doing all of these years has been going to the Burger King and leaving money on the counter and walking out with no merchandise.
Come on. Come on.
That is that simple. You know, just like a long time ago when they used to allow smoking in prison, how packs of cigarettes were used as currency. The vote is currency. The vote is paying for somebody to go into Congress and advocate your interests. And his salary is being paid for by your taxes. Why do black people keep paying for stuff and they ain't getting nothing with it?
Come on.
That doesn't make any sense.
At all. I mean, they got so bold.
It's real simple.
Arthur, they don't even wait to get elected to tell you they ain't doing shit for you.
We are involved with you know what? See, I like my coffee. You know what? I like my coffee. The barista behind the counter, she fine as hell. Big old, yum-yums and all that other stuff, right? But let her fuck up my coffee. Let her fuck up my coffee. I'm going to forget about all that other stuff because I'm paying for this coffee. You understand what I mean?
We paying for all the other groups to come up, but ADOS gets to live on the bottom.
Right.
That's what y'all decide to do with your vote. Let ADOS stay on the bottom.
Right.
And wait 4 more years. Every 4 years, they got something else they need us to wait for.
Right.
60 years we've been the mules. We're done with that over here at the ADOS.
Done. I wouldn't care if Hitler was running.
Okay. Really don't.
Let him win.
Let everybody feel this pain.
Let them win.
Let's all suffer. Taj Marie says, I think the greatest gift that Black women can give in this election is to join Black men in not voting for Democrats to lower the percentage of black votes overall to Biden-Harris. You're absolutely right, Taj Marie. He's got it. He must be in the movement. Those
Maybe not. Hey, my brother is not in the movement, and he was asking me about how to vote down ballot. He said, you know what he said? Arthur, I see what you're talking about now. That's what he said. And he's not even involved in the movement.
Well, perhaps we are waking people up because we've only been at it for a bazillion years right now. Well, we've been at it for a short while. Truly, the movement formed when Kamala threw her hat in the ring, weaponizing blackness on Martin Luther King Day on the Howard campus.
Right.
She knows the history of black folks and have chosen to come out of her mouth while clutching her pearls. I ain't doing nothing specifically for you. And y'all dancing in the streets like we have arrived.
Oh, they all know.
It's unconscionable how sleep a lot of ADOS are.
Oh, they all know.
I'm just mortified.
I had a Jewish neighbor in a condo development I used to live in. I walk in this guy's house. We was pretty cool. This guy's got shelves and shelves of books written by and for black people. And I'm like, I said, you really, I said, but you're into black literature and black history? He said, oh, he says, oh, I find African Americans fascinating, and so therefore I have a tendency to read a lot about them. I said, wow, this much? 3 walls full? Not bookshelves. I mean, built-in, because we had a lot of us in that, we had built-in bookshelves. He had 3 walls full of books written by and about African Americans.
But you know why?
Why?
He's trying to figure out how we still here 35 minutes.
Is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Lincoln Alexander McIntosh Brown, thank you for joining the live. It would be good to check out T. West of Afro Synergy work on reparations and COVID-19, how it was engineered in the U.S. The plot is thick. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Joel says, not ADOS, the movement, some black folks. I don't know what that's in reference to. We have to establish our political maturation. Thank you for that, Texwell. Rashawn Graham, to this day, no SCOTUS has done nothing specifically positive for Black Americans ADOS. Absolutely, you're right. Cosetta Osler, y'all scared me voting for Obama Biden. I've been crucified out here. Yeah, well, join great company. We're all getting crucified trying to wake the people up.
Yeah, well, it's really the job. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's not really the job of SCOTUS to do anything for anybody. That's not their function. The function of a citizen is to make sure that the legislature does something, because they're the one that make the laws. The court does not make the law. They may overturn certain laws that don't measure up to constitutional scrutiny, or they may change some things through precedents that may to clarify something, but it is not the job of the Supreme Court to do anything for any citizen other than interpret the law. They're not legislators.
Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah.
Taj Marie says, I just hope that they don't trot Michelle Obama out again to influence Black people. Now that the Obamas have become less irrelevant to some of us, they are really showing their true colors. Yes, indeed. They got a whole podcast show.
Yeah.
Constantly, hustling the sheeple to Obama's the reason we got Biden.
Right.
Because Bernie was beating the brakes off of him.
Sure
was putting big money behind Bernie, real strong. And he won 3 states straight, got to North Carolina, and those sleep sheeple ADOS voted for Biden. Obama came out, started dropping dimes, telling everybody to fall on their sword, get out the way, make way. We can't split the moderate conservative neoliberal vote. Y'all rally behind him, and let's take out Bernie Sanders, which he said he was going to do prior to doing it. Joel Jones, Arthur, I understand the movement. This ain't new to me. Been about reparations since the 9th grade. Okay, and she's agreeing with you. Chinetta Lynn, thank you for joining the live, lovey. I'm not scared. ADOS, ADOS, ADOS. Thank you, baby. Neither are we. Nothing to fear. We got to stop being afraid. before we are extinct. Those are the two choices. My extinction, and when I leave here, my child has to struggle in this racist ass country, racist immigrants, racist white folks. All of them are oppressors with some exceptions. Okay, so you've got to think about the world you're leaving your children when you choose to go and vote for a Biden-Kamala ticket. Think about your child, your grandbabies, your great-grandbabies, the people that are going to be here when you're gone. Because if the millennials ain't for it, the boomers who are for this need to sit down, get on board with what the millennials want. They don't want Kamala. They don't want Biden. We on our way. We on the other side. I'm Gen X, but I'm here to tell you a lot of us Gen Xers and far more millennials are not going to vote for this. And I mean across racial lines. They see clearly what you guys have given us in this lesser of two evil, two-step shuffle to hell. They see clearly what you've done. They see clearly that the boomers are comfortable with their pensions and their homes and the fact that they were able to even get pensions, and they got comfortable and fat and lazy on the Gen Xers and the millennials. And the Gen Zs are coming up and they are seeing what you've left us with. You didn't pick up the mantle when it was time to fight for this check after they murdered Martin Luther King because he was coming for that check. The People's March. And we are hotter than fish grease with you for getting in the way of the politics we must now do because you failed us. You failed to teach us politics. You failed to keep this fight up all the way till we got that check. Now we have nothing. And you want to get in my feed and disparage me, and how can you be so racist? I can't be racist. I can't afford to be racist. Racist is for white privilege, which is green in this country. This is what you've left us with. We have to be the ones to grow a pair of balls and break the establishment. You scared Negroes, get out of the way. It's time for America to fall the way Rome fell. It is time. I'm just grateful it wasn't up to y'all scared niggas to free us as slaves. The ancestors are rolling over in their grave.
That's
Not
right.
because we won't continue this two-step to hell, but that you can't grow a backbone after what they endured.
That's right.
That's why they're rolling over.
And you know what? When Martin Luther King was alive, and I was alive during that time, you know, the white people that were angry at him were not that angry at him when he was talking about civil rights, okay? Because they knew what they were doing to us, especially the people in the South with their more overt forms of racism. But they got steamed at him when he started going after voting rights, because that's where the power is. And you got to understand that. That's where the vote, the money comes from the vote. Not the other way around.
Can you please talk about how Mary McLeod Bethune and Fannie Lou Hamer got in the way and did the white man's bidding when he had nothing to offer us in exchange for the vote?
Yeah.
Can you please speak to
I would say
Black Congress and they got in the way and got FDR and Lyndon B. Johnson and Truman elected when these people were holding slaves and talk about what they were going to do for niggas? And we got Mary McLeod Bethune and Fannie Lou Hamer in the goddamn way. A lot of these bootlicks like Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, everybody in the way, just like they were back in the day. Could you speak to that?
Well, you know what? I would say it's more so Mary McLeod Bethune than Fannie Lou Hamer. Fannie Lou Hamer was really she would have been an excellent ADOS person. But the thing was that she got sold and she didn't know any better. Whereas Mary McLeod Bethune was a well-educated Black woman that knew exactly what she was doing. And I lay more of that blame at her feet than I do Fannie Lou Hamer. You understand what I'm saying?
People, because people herald these two. Can you just give us a little bit more detail about what happened?
Okay, what happened?
They ended up doing the white man's bidding to get these presidents who were working against our own interests, especially when it came to the anti-lynching laws, and they let that stuff sit. Could you please give them a little history lesson? They don't know. I'm just now finding out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Franklin Delano Roosevelt knew that he could not win without that edge, and that edge was coming from the Black vote. So he decided to bring in people, Mary McLeod Bethune first. It was later on that Fannie Lou Hamer came on the scene, okay? That was in the 1960s. That was with Kennedy. And basically Mary McLeod Bethune was actually getting a lot of benefits from white people as far as her school was concerned. And a few other, how should I say, hand-chosen Blacks of prominence at that time. So in exchange for that, she promoted voting for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, one of the things that he did, and she discussed this with him, he promised her that he would sign an anti-lynching bill. When he got in the office, he didn't. And then for the rest of the time, blew her off. And in his mind, she was one of Eleanor Roosevelt. That was his wife. She was one of Eleanor's niggas.
You're breaking up, Arthur. Arthur.
Yeah, that's what he used to call her. He called her and a few other people.
Oh, we're losing him. Arthur, you're breaking up. Let me get him on the phone.
Hello, Angela, can you hear me?
It's much better. For some reason it's buffering really bad. Really bad. Can we get you on the phone real quick to finish out what you were saying?
Can you hear me?
Barely. It's buffering really bad. Let me, I'm going to mute you and get you on the phone so we can see you. Hold on. Stand by, audience. I know it's a long show, but we had to go in. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute this and I'm going to call you on the Bluetooth. Oh, it stopped buffering for some reason. Let's try it again. We're almost done. I wanted you to go back to Mary McLeod Bethune. It started buffering.
Yeah, what I was saying was like
how he used her.
Oh yeah, he used the hell out of her because he needed that edge, and the edge at that time was still, even at that time, the Black vote. So he had made her a bunch of promises, including signing an anti-lynching bill. And then as soon as he got in office, he cut off communications with her, started, in cabinet meetings and so forth, calling her one of Eleanor's niggas. And that was that, okay? The same thing happened later on with Fannie Lou Hamer and her relationship with the Kennedys. Same, not the Kennedys, but I would say more so Johnson.
Johnson. Truman. Which one? You say?
No, it was Johnson.
Truman or Johnson?
It was Johnson.
Okay, could you share what happened?
Yeah, and Johnson had made some promises to put certain things in place before the election. In addition to making sure that they got seated at the Democratic convention. None of that went down, okay? And then he made her further promises in order to guarantee the vote. Okay, she did what she did, and then Johnson cut her off. So we get used like this all the time. And the thing is that we have to assert ourselves as a particular interest group rally our votes and put our foot down. Because, see, like with both cases, there was no retribution or punishment that these individuals could exact. Things are different now. We can put retribution on candidates now, but we have to realize our own power and our own potential ability to organize in order to make that happen. That's what needs to happen. We got it. We just need to do it.
Well, I thank you so much, Arthur, for being on here with me and explaining why we must abolish the establishment, decimate it this election cycle. I really hope you guys share this video to enlighten the people who are resistant to the revolution that must happen. The stakes are extremely high. And there is no way in the world the Democrats should be giving us the author of the 94 crime bill and Cali's top cop as choices if they really were concerned about Black Lives Matter. It's an oxymoron to have those two at the top of the ticket while folks are screaming to defund the police. And with that said, I'd like to pray us out. I thank you so much for joining the live, and thank you for your hearty discussions and exchange in the chat. I appreciate you guys so much. I especially appreciate when you help me out in my Facebook space to fight off the vitriol. Very, very grateful to you. It's very difficult to stand up for ADOS because we're not accustomed to it. We suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome. And we're just so happy to be next to whiteness. It's really a sickness that we all need therapy for. But many of us are awake and many of us are awakening. And I thank you, ADOS and the movement, for being the backbone of this fight and being willing to expend your time, energy, and resources into decimating the Demo-rats and the Republicans, because we're proposing total gridlock until we get the reparations check. Remember, the vote is all we have. The vote is all we have. We don't have the resources, which is why we're not at the table. We are clearly on the menu. And with that said, I'd love to put a prayer of protection around you. For those of you that don't believe in prayer or God, you're free to jump off the line. But it gives me a peace of mind to pray over my people, that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever ADOS and its allies are, God truly is, because you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until tomorrow, family, or the next day, I'm not sure. I've been a little worn out, but I'm trying to get something up daily for you. You make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your Saturday. I love you, Black. I love you, strong. Arthur, I can't thank you enough, my brother. And an extra special to you.
I love you too, Angela. Just don't mess up my coffee, okay?
I ain't gonna mess up your coffee. I'll be seeing you again soon when I'm in a crunch and need some excellence on the line. Okay?
Oh my goodness.
Take care, my friend.
Y'all, you too, babe. Thank you.
Peace. Peace, family.